Okay, in this lesson I want to talk about how DNA contains the coded instructions for making proteins. I want to talk about as well transcription and the advantages of DNA replication. Okay, so let me start off by talking about how DNA contains the coded instructions for making proteins, so the genetic code. Okay, so DNA and genetic code. Okay, so in animal and plant cells, remember that the instructions for making proteins and the structures where proteins are made are found in two different locations. Okay, so DNA is stored in the nucleus, remember? So DNA stored in the nucleus of a cell. Okay, while proteins are assembled from amino acids in the cytoplasm. Okay, and let me correct myself. I do apologize. In a previous lesson, I talked about how DNA is made of proteins. It's not actually true. Proteins are made from amino acids. Okay, amino acids are found in the cytoplasm, so the jelly-like thing in the cell. Okay, DNA is stored in the nucleus. So proteins, however, are assembled from amino acids. Remember, amino acids are the building blocks of protein. Okay, as an analogy, I want you to think about, so analogy, a protein shake. Okay, it's made up of amino acids. Okay, you can't see them, but the end result, when you mix them all together, you get a powder. Okay, and that's flavored usually with chocolate or vanilla or whatever. So DNA is in the nucleus. Proteins assembled from amino acids in the cytoplasm. Okay, so if I was to draw an animal cell, remember it's like a blob. You have a nucleus here. Cytoplasm is that jelly-like stuff around it, right? You've got the cell membrane here. Cytoplasm is the jelly-like stuff. It's assembled from amino acids in cytoplasm in structures called ribosomes. Okay, very important you know this new word, ribosomes. Sounds a bit like chromosomes, okay? So in the cytoplasm, there are little dot things. These are ribosomes. Okay, now there's a chemical, called messenger. Also, you got to know this, messenger RNA. Okay, messenger RNA. M, small m, capital R, capital N, capital A for short. Okay, RNA stands for ribonucleic acid. Okay, so it's the exact same. It sounds almost similar to deoxyribonucleic acid, but it's just shorter. Okay, so ribonucleic acid. Okay. Remember, the ox rides a nucleic acid. The ox rides on nucleic acid. Okay, that's a way to memorize the word deoxyribonucleic acid. So there's a chemical called messenger RNA that's made in the nucleus. Okay, so in the nucleus you'll find the messenger RNA, and basically what this does is it carries a copy of DNA, of a DNA-based sequence of a specific gene. Okay, to the cytoplasm. Right, let's move on. Now, ribosomes, basically, so ribosomes, and I'll draw an illustration later on to break this down. So the ribosomes then attach to the mRNA. Remember, so let me draw the cell again. We've got a cell, we've got a nucleus, you have the cytoplasm, and you've got the ribosomes, right? So they attach to the mRNA that comes out of the nucleus. And these instructions are basically carried, the instructions are used to assemble amino acids in protein. Okay. Let me actually draw what's going on. So let's say here we've got a cell, here we've got the nucleus, this is an enlarged. Okay, so in the nucleus, right, we've got a DNA strand. We've got chromosomes, right? Chromosomes are made of DNA. What happens is, okay, mRNA, the messenger RNA, messenger ribonucleic acid, makes its way, okay, so in the nucleus, it latches onto the base pairs, makes its way eventually through the cytoplasm. So the cytoplasm is here, and out of the cell containing information. Okay, so the mRNA copies code from DNA in nucleus. Okay, so the mRNA latches on. So the base pairs break apart here. These are still intact, sort of. It latches on, the mRNA latches onto the DNA, carries code out of the cell through the cytoplasm to a ribosome, okay? Ribosome here. You can carry it and you can move out as well, if it can somehow. Okay, so copies code from DNA in nucleus and carries code out of nucleus through cytoplasm to ribosome. Okay. Sorry, this arrow shouldn't be here. This should be here, and then it goes into a ribosome. Okay. Sorry about that. So the process that I talked about now is there's a name for it. It's called transcription. Okay. Transcription. Process, the definition, process of making messenger RNA from DNA and then moving it to the cytoplasm, okay, which is exactly what I had previously. Okay, this is where protein synthesis takes place. Let me explain that. Okay, so back to the cell, nucleus, mRNA makes its way to through the jelly-like cytoplasm, hits a ribosome. In a ribosome, protein synthesis takes place. So amino acids, basically, protein, to synthesize something means to join together, okay? So protein synthesis means joining together of amino acids. Remember, amino acids are the building blocks of protein. That's where it occurs. And basically, our mRNA is made of thousands of bases, right? In threes, pairs of in threes called codons. Okay, so mRNA made of thousands of bases, okay, arranged in threes. Okay, think of them as Lego linked together. Okay, these have a name and they're called codons. Think of code, the word code, okay? They encode information. Okay, so codons is a word you should know. There's one more thing I want to talk about. I'm going to talk about the advantages of DNA replication. DNA replication. In other words, the advantages of DNA replicating exactly. Okay, so basically in this case, remember the daughter cells receive an exact copy. Remember, so you've got, say, mum, male, female making a baby, exact copy of the genetic information. Okay, hence you get correct proteins being made. Correct, and the correct reactions taking place, right? Dot, 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 okay? So obviously, well, it's pretty self-evident what's going on here, okay? The parent gives the exact genetic information to the offspring. That enables the offspring to produce, sorry for the offspring's body to function normally, for protein synthesis to take place, for muscles and tissue to develop, for reactions to take place as they should. That's an advantage, basically. Also with very low, I should also mention, very low replication error rate. Okay, very important. Very low replication error rate. What does this mean? Well, the word says it all, okay? This needs to occur with very minimal, very minimal mix-up in the code. Okay, the code has to go from point A to point B, from the parent to the daughter, the offspring. Okay, and the great thing about DNA replication is that it's able to preserve the full, as I mentioned, the full original sequence of base pairs in every cell. Okay, so let me write that down. Ability to preserve full original sequence of base pairs in every cell. Okay, and I'll talk about things like mitosis later on. So basically, all offspring can retain majority, if not all, of the characteristics of the parent, right? So that's the big picture of DNA replication. So that concludes this lesson. So I talked about DNA containing the genetic code, right, obviously, and how a chemical called messenger RNA, mRNA, messenger ribonucleic acid, made in the nucleus, it carries a copy of the DNA base sequence, carries it to the ribosome, and that's where protein synthesis can take place. That's called transcription, okay? And I talked about codons, okay, which are basically bases, right? That's what, which is what mRNA is made of, codons. And then talked about the advantages of DNA replication and how information, genetic information, can go from point A to point B. Exactly.